All right, we're about to get started. So welcome everyone who actually showed up today. Appreciate you guys coming out. For today's session for our webinar, we're going to be going over the Splunk Security Essentials App. So how to use that, best practices for security posture for using that app, and a small demo of it to show you how it actually runs. So again, this is going over the Splunk Security Essentials App. That's what we're going to be going over today. So that app is, I believe it's pretty common for a lot of my clients that I work with. The reason they like to use it is because it's free. So after this demo or during it, you're free to try this yourself in your own lab environment if you've never used Splunk before. So you actually get some hands-on experience with it. And as always, if you have any questions at all, just let me know. I'll stop what I'm doing to try to answer them to the best of my abilities. So questions from what I'm seeing. Let's get started. Okay, so as I like to always do, let's go over a little bit about who I am and what I do. So who the heck am I, right? My name is Kenneth Ellington. I'm a senior consultant at a Big Four firm. I'm a cybersecurity practitioner that specializes in SIEM smart technology. That's what we do for ECA, all right? I used to be a part-time instructor at University of Houston, but I left that position to focus more on building up Ellington Cyber Academy. And I'm also a Blue Team program instructor for Blacks in Cybersecurity. And if anybody knows me, I'm a huge My Hero Academia fan. So agenda. So again, what exactly is Splunk and SIEM platform, right? How can you use Splunk and Security Essentials, or SSE for short, to improve your security posture, and a demo of that app to see how it actually works. So what exactly is Splunk, right? I get the question a lot. So Splunk is a log management data aggregation platform designed to ingest and store logs from a variety of different use cases. So think of IT ops, business intelligence, just overall log management and storage. Splunk is one of the best tools for that. It's a market leader. I believe I want to say 90% of the Fortune 100 companies use it. A lot of my own personal clients use it as well as their environments. So a big misunderstanding of Splunk is Splunk in and of itself is not a SIEM platform. Splunk has a SIEM component called Splunk Enterprise Security, or Splunk ES for short. This platform is specifically designed to actually handle cybersecurity use cases in mind, right? So you will have the actual Splunk platform itself, and then you would actually purchase a SIEM. So the SIEM is a premium app inside of Splunk that sits on top of your base Splunk install, right? And then you're able to actually use the features of Splunk Enterprise Security. But again, Splunk in itself is not a SIEM platform, right? It's a data aggregation log management platform. And the SIEM are specifically designed for security use cases in mind. That's a big misunderstanding most people get about it. But those are the two differences between the two platforms. So you don't need to have Splunk Enterprise Security to use Splunk Security Essentials. But if you do have Splunk Enterprise Security, it will enhance the experience. There are a lot of direct plugins, playbooks, detection rules that you can directly import over from Splunk Security Essentials to Splunk Enterprise Security. We'll keep that in mind as well. Any questions so far from anybody? None so far. Cool. Brings us towards the next slide. So what is Splunk Security Essentials, right? Splunk Security Essentials is a free app used to help improve security posture for less mature organizations. So think of Splunk Security Essentials as, I don't want to call it like a lightweight version of a SIEM, but for lack of a better term, you can call it that, right? If you're a decent sized organization, I would not use it as that. But if you're like a startup, a nonprofit, I would probably suggest spinning up Splunk Security Essentials app, using that to help out with your security posture. So the cool thing about it is it helps to map out and helps you to learn how security should work inside your organization, and how Splunk can help you with your security posture. So a lot of direct overviews of what the detection process looks like, or data collection, and then building rules off of that. A lot of free, already pre-built rule packages that you can use inside your environment. Again, more ways to actually assess your security posture direct different scans of data that you're actually ingesting inside your platform. A lot of walkthroughs you can use, direct monitor mappings. So it's pretty powerful for it being a free app. So that's what we like to use it in client demos and things of that nature. So the big difference between the two is Splunk Security Essentials is very, very bare bones compared to Splunk Enterprise Security. That's why it's free compared to paying the thousands of dollars for Splunk Enterprise Security, right? Or Splunk ES for short. That's the big difference between the two, right? Splunk ES is like the full, all the bells and whistles version of a SIEM platform for Splunk. And Splunk SSE is just as bare bones as you can get just to get the job done, right? Who here has used, quick show of hands, who here has used Splunk Security Essentials before? See, no one. Okay, not a problem at all. Get to see it in action during this demo. The questions you should use beforehand for actually using this app, right? Just installing a bunch of apps and not knowing how to use it is the recipe for disaster, right? So questions you can ask yourself, your team, or your client, or whoever, right? Do we already have another platform in place that does this, right? Do we have a baseline for our security posture? Have you had any major incidents or breaches recently? Do you have people to actually implement this, right? The first one is super important, right? If you already have a SIEM, let's say you have QRadar or Splunk Enterprise Security, Logarithm, Elastic, Sentinel, Logcell, wherever it may be, then you may not need to use Splunk Security Essentials, right? You may not need to actually like fully implement inside your environment, right? If you already had another platform that does it, right? Another thing is, do you have any baseline for your security posture? The answer is no. Then I would highly suggest checking out this app to see if you're actually able to implement it inside of your environment. Another question I would ask is, have you had any major incidents inside of your company recently? The answer is yes towards this, right? You want to take, again, get a good understanding of what your security posture is, what is your baseline, right? And then see how you can use different tools and different platforms to try to fix any holes inside of it, right? So the reason Splunk Security Essentials is super cool about this is it's able to actually scan and see what data imports you have coming inside of your environment, right? And that's very beneficial to see what you're able to actually monitor and detect on. Last question I would be, do we actually have the people implement this inside of the environment? Right, because it's nice and dandy to actually have all these cool tools, right? But if we're understaffed and we're not able to actually implement this properly, then we won't do a whole lot of good, right? So you may want to bring in an outside consultant or somebody to help you implement and teach you how to use the platform, right? Platform itself is pretty quick to understand for this app, but you may need to pay someone a little bit of money to actually see if they're able to actually get you from point A to point B to get started. So keep that in mind. It's a couple questions you can ask them or ask yourself. There's many more, but these are just a baseline for you. All right, so now it's the demo time to actually demo the app. So, okay. So I'm gonna assume for the sake of this webinar, everyone here knows how to use Splunk. If not, check out my course, Splunk Fundamentals, and we teach you how to use the platform, right? But I'm assuming for the sake of this, everyone knows how to use it. So this is a Splunk GUI, right? I've already installed it on a Linux box. And so I've already installed the Splunk Security Essentials app. So to install the app, we just type in questions. We see, no, cool. You would type in Splunk Security and then download the Splunk Security Essentials app. You would just click install, enter your username and password, and the app will be installed for you. So let's check it out. This is the Splunk Security Essentials App. There's 4 buckets or 4 paths you can take once you open up the app. There's find content, there's learn, there's self-deploy, and there's measure, right? So for the first one, let's say your organization is new. Again, they don't have a very sophisticated security posture because they're nonprofit, you have a couple of people. You may not know too much about security in general, right? So you will click on learn. And you click on launch security contents page. This page basically has detection rules for all of 6 stages, like the security pipeline process, right? So you have collection, normalization, expansion, enrichment, automation, orchestration, and advanced detection. So all of these rules right here are free. If they actually, what I mean free by that is you're able to actually implement these rules, right? The reason being, they don't require Splunk Enterprise Security. If they do, you will have the little black symbol for Splunk Enterprise Security, and like I believe the left-hand or right-hand corner of here. Left click on basic scanning. All right, cool. Okay, so you click on basic scanning, and first it can give you an overview of the description, what it actually does, right? And content mapping, we don't have it mapped out to the search yet, because we're not ingesting that data, right? And it gives an overview of what the use case is, the category, security impact of using it, the potential alert volume of it, then the SPL difficulty of actually trying to implement it. And SPL in Splunk means search processing language. So that's what all the knowledge objects is what all the searches and reports are built off of in the backend for Splunk. Right. And I like this a lot because there's direct mappings from MITRE, right? If you click on this, I'll actually take you towards the MITRE site. So you're able to actually properly map this towards a MITRE attack framework. And if we wanted to actually implement these rules, right, you can open up and search and test it. We can't because I don't have this data coming in, right? So I'm not able to do it, right? And it'll tell you, right, error, because I don't have this data coming in, right? This is firewall data, and I don't have firewall data coming inside my Splunk instance. So we're not going to be able to detect any values. So these are more similar use cases that we're able to actually try to implement, right? See, this is what I mean by you're going to actually need to install Splunk Enterprise Security if you want to use this rule. But because we don't have Splunk Enterprise Security, we're not going to be able to do this. If you're a SOAR platform, you're able to actually directly map it towards this as well. Goes over how to actually implement this, known false positives for it, how to properly respond towards it, right? Then again, if we had the actual data coming in, we would actually be able to see it. So it gives you pretty cool breakdown and walkthrough of how to actually kind of protect your environment, right? So again, for somebody that's not too security savvy, or it's just trying to get inside the field or trying to implement this for their environment or company, this is a very good way to get started. Go to home. Content, security detection basics. So these are some of the buckets that we use for detection rules, right? You have security monitoring, advanced threat detection, insider threat, compliance, application security, and SOC automation. So these are some use cases that you may build out for your org or for yourself. You click on them, could take it back to the content page. And it takes us towards a collection, detection rules and use cases. Let's see. Use case, category, data source. All right. So I filtered down from data sources to Windows security because I have these logs summoned into my system. Let's do basic brute force detection. All right, same thing as last time. Give me a description, an overview of it for the use case, right? Security impact, alert volume, right? FPL difficulty, and again, direct mapping some MITRE, right? So the different techniques and tactics and different threat groups that may actually try to use the technique to compromise my environment. You see, now this is green. The reason it's green because again, I have the data inside my environment actually. This is an out-of-box rule. Normally, production environment, right? You would change it to tweak it towards your needs. But in this case, it should work for us. Other related capabilities. See, we're actually able to get logs coming in and actually detect on it. So pretty cool. Let's see. So you can do two things. You can directly map it through here. Yeah, okay, you can. So you can do content mapping directly through here, or you can open up in search and save it as a saved search. Either or will work perfectly fine. So 1 and 2, I could save this as an alert or just save search. And then I'll be able to directly map it towards it, right, to implement this rule. And then it can give you line by line documentation on how to actually run this or what the actual SPL means. Very slow. It's not today because it's been very slow. Greater than 10. Next. We'll still hold default ones for now. I don't need in real time actions. All right. Low. Let's view the alert. And now we've saved this as an alert. It's pretty cool. Again, they'll tell you if you're not able to actually implement that rule because you won't have the proper data coming in. Let's go to Analytics Advisor. So a lot of these will look blank or they'll have improper metrics. That's because I haven't turned anything on this basically yet, right? So once you do, you start to see the proper data flow coming in. You'll start to get proper metrics for it. So for analytics overview, a lot of the different cybersecurity frameworks are directly in here. So you're able to map out a lot of your content towards it, right? You have the Logchi Martin Cyber Kill Chain, you have the My Attack framework, yeah, risk-based alerting content as well. Recommendations for that. So let's go to risk-based alerting. It gives you a description so you can get started. All right, again, because we don't have the data coming in properly yet, so it's not really going to show us anything. Let's go to My Attack framework. So going back towards, I believe I clicked one of the links back in the content page, right, for the direct mapping to MITRE. This is basically Splunk mapping this inside their actual own page for this app. So this is a MITRE, I don't want to call it tile page, whatever, directory chart, whatever you want to call it. So you're able to get as specific as you want to for mapping this out and trying to find the actual adversary and their techniques and tactics for your environment to actually defend against it. You can do it here, or you can directly click on it. And it'll tell you total content you have, or basically the amount of data or data sources you have coming in to actually use some of these techniques. Secure operations. Let's see if I actually will use this one. I don't remember the top of my head. Let it load for a little bit. Any question in the chat? Perfect. Now let's see. Where's it at? Okay, so one of the cool pages, so that's actual configuration, right? So it'll tell you suggested apps you should have installed inside of your environment, depending on what type of data you have, right? And this lets you get a full experience out of the app, right? So you may have URL toolbox, timeline visualization, radar chart, SAN key, machine learning toolkit, InfoSec app, enterprise security content update, right? These apps are gonna vary depending on what you're trying to do for your environment and what data you have coming in. These are just a couple, to name a few. For the integrate ES, here's how you do it, right? Content mapping, data inventory, go to searches, and then update your content. So you want data interview. Let's see. There was one really interesting tab I want to show you before we close this out. No. And again, this is another under security data journey. This is what I'm talking about. It's actually your security data journey, right? You have stage 1, which is collection, stage 2, normalization, stage 3 with its expansion, stage 4, which is enrichment, stage 5, which is automation orchestration, stage 6 is advanced detection. Honestly, once you get to probably stage 3 or 4, you're gonna want to actually get like a full SIEM environment, right? So if you're able to get towards that stage, I'd suggest probably investing in something more heftier, beefier. And these are the most common data sources you may run into for your collection. So you have network logs, endpoint logs, authentication, and web activity. This is pretty accurate. These are the most common logs you will run into inside your environment when you're ingesting data. Then this is the data onboarding guide, right? So Splunk will give you some data onboarding guides, right? To help you try to onboard data from different sources, right? So for example, when it's authentication logs, I'll give you the data onboarding guide for it, expectations, how to seal it properly, step-by-step instructions of what to expect for your different .conf files, right? Issue sample files you can use. So very, very detailed, very cool. Oh, dashboard, data sets. Okay. Also, Splunk gives you like a bunch of small default data sets, so you're able to actually search and test some things inside of this app, which I think is pretty cool. So for example, let's say I want to search. If I'm correct, I could be losing my mind, but I don't think so. No, let's see something. Oh, there we go. Yeah, so for these are lookup tables, and if you want to play around with these, you could definitely do that to test some things out. I think that's pretty cool to use, right? Because getting really good security data is super hard to get. There's one more tab I want to show you guys. So this is the data source check. This will check to see what data you actually have coming inside your environment, right? So you get a better idea of your security posture for data you may have coming in your environment. So you're able to actually know what you need to detect on and some of your gaps and holes. So there's a lot of data sources that it checks and tell you if it's missing it or not. Takes a while to actually scan it. Questions in the meantime? No, excellent. And obviously, because it's this test environment, I don't have too much live data coming in. Right. It's done. So it's done, you're able to know what actually data is coming in, which is super helpful. But that was it for the demo. Those were just some of the features that I want to show you. Obviously, you can do a lot more inside this platform, but that's just a quick run through of it. Let's see. So any questions at all for me? If not, thank you guys for showing up today. Any questions at all, feel free to book a call with me on my site. Follow me on Twitter or LinkedIn, and follow me or any of my instructors if you want the rest to help you out. The link for our courses should be in the description inside of this. We'll be uploading it to YouTube pretty soon. So again, thank you again. I'll see you guys next time.